almost had it ready, and then I clicked the wrong button in the last second. Every time.
See, my office is dirty. I don't think I prepped. Oh, well.
That's okay. I don't think anyone's going to mind.
I have got to say right now, before we get all started and everything, it is a huge honor to be talking with you today, man. I have been following you since, like 5-6 years now. So I'm totally fanboying out right now.
Awesome. That is awesome to hear. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm glad you called yourself out on that, because I would have definitely told everyone that you were fanboying all week about this. He get messaging me. He's like, oh my God, we actually get to talk to him. This is great. Thank you for joining us.
I guess it doesn't help that I kind of like disappeared for a while. I keep seeing like photos of like Bigfoot, and they're like, which one's more elusive, Skitzo or Bigfoot? Like weird crap. I'm just like, all right, that's fair.
Right.
Well, we might as well start with that then. So where did you go?
I don't know. I just had I think a lot of people that follow my channel know that like my father passed away, which was like a huge blow to me, because I was super close to him, obviously. And then also I was kind of struggling financially. I made like terrible financial decisions, and it was just a combination of things. And I was like, so I just kind of took a step back and was like, maybe I should think about what I'm doing here. And I kind of stepped away from drones and went back to computer engineering, which is my main background. So I've been doing that ever since. And of course, that's been eating a hole at me too, because I love obviously flying drones and being able to talk to you guys and things like that. So sitting in front of the computer, like in front of the dungeon lights, or under the dungeon lights all night, kind of starts, taking its toll too. So I'm like, maybe I should get back out in the sun and start, flying again. So that's kind of where I've been going with that. I think I'm thinking about coming back and flying a lot. So.
Dude, you need to. We don't have any of the real OG. Well, I mean, there's Steel and a couple other guys, but you like having you around, or I mean,
yeah, it's kind of weird. It seems like a lot. Well, I think there's still a lot of them. There's Umaga, like Tommy's still out there. Steel, Phil, Firebot. I guess he's doing Cinequads now. So everyone's kind of like doing their own venture, I think a lot of the OGs are doing either something else, or they're just doing, like a business aspect of it now, like kind of behind the scenes more. I don't really see Tommy fly much anymore, which is, I like watching him fly too. It's a shame, but, so yeah, you're right. I guess a lot of the OG guys are doing something else, or, behind the scenes now.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think you're right. It's everyone's just doing business at this point, right? Like you guys started in 2014. Probably around the same time as those other guys started, right? Based on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So by now it's like a career, right? So I get it. When you're working and you're doing drone stuff and you're always flying, you're always busy, you don't really have time to make the edits, especially at a certain quality that you're used to producing for people, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing about it is like, the evolution from 2014, right? The technology was super new. It was really exciting. Nobody's seen like the Dugga dive or diving skyscrapers or any of this crazy stuff. So, I don't know. Once all that happened, it just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I guess it was just the evolution of the whole thing. Originally, I just wanted to fly and have a good time. It was all about getting together with the boys and just kicking it and going to eat tacos afterwards and talking about the footage that we got. And it was a lot more real back then. And then it turned into vlogging. There was like the vlogging aspect, which I absolutely hated, because I don't like being in front of the camera. I just like hanging out with my boys and flying drones. So it was really awkward for me at first, and I didn't really know where it was going from there. And then it just, how anything, right? Like you get into something because you're passionate about it, but then once it becomes like a living, you start kind of losing that not losing the passion, but it becomes less fun, I think, when you're starting to do it for financial gain.
Yeah, you kind of just burn out, right? Because now you're just always doing it.
Mm-hmm. Because I remember like me and Steele, we go fly a spot, and we couldn't wait to get home and edit and see like who had a better foot. It was like competitive in a way, like in a fun way. We'd be like trying to show each other up and stuff. And so I guess it just kind of got stale after a while. I guess it's the easiest way to, like once you've already done everything, like what is there to do?
You just got to find more stuff, man. I mean,
Oh, for
there's
sure.
some insane stuff, and
Oh no, I get it. Yeah.
I was so sad to see you kind of dip out a little while, you know, and whatnot. And then when you started putting out these little teasers about you coming back, I was just like,
I've
no
done that
way.
a few times, and I apologize for that because I'm like, oh, I got to fly one. You know, it's been like 4 months, and I fly like one battery. I'm like, dang, that's actually not bad. And I post it. I'm like, yeah, I should come back, and then I don't fly again for 4 months, and then like, so I've done this several times. Everyone doesn't believe me, and I don't blame them.
Dude, you're
So.
still one of the smoothest pilots I've ever seen. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Have you tried DJI yet?
I tried it when they first released it. I think Kevin, you know, Stinger Swarm, he had like one of the early versions of it, and I tried it. I was actually pretty impressed with it, actually. I didn't like at that time too. I wasn't super educated on it because I thought you had to use the radio, which I did hate because I love my Futaba radio, which you can see there actually. I love that radio to death, and to have a little for a pincher to use like a smaller radio just kind of sucks. So
you still using Flight 1?
I actually am still set up in Flight 1, but that's just because I haven't built anything else. I still have the same quads from. In fact, I have this quad that you're watching right here still. That's
Really?
still like my daily flyer. Yeah. But yeah, it's only because I haven't changed anything out. I literally have the same 2 builds that I've had over the last like 2 years, and that's mainly because I haven't been flying. So it's not really bragging. So yeah, I'm still on Flight 1.
Dude, well, that's cool, man. I will completely admit I've never gotten Flight 1 to work for me.
Dude, you're not the only person that said that. I don't blame you.
I don't know what it is, but I can't get it to work for me. It's wild. So Beta Flight for me, of course.
Hey, dude, if you know how to set that up, to me, like Beta Flight's harder to set up, but I guess it just depends on.
That's what everybody at Flight 1 says.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, like the Flight 1 stuff is like, you know, that was their big thing, right? To have this like more like automated software setup where it's like you don't need to know like your motor directions or your like you don't really need to know what else, like your protocol, you know, right? It just detects your radio, and it's like, this is your protocol. So that kind of stuff is really cool. With Beta Flight, I think it's just a little less user friendly, in my opinion. If someone had just bought a drone and tried to build it, them having to know the flight or the flight controller orientation and like the motor order and all that stuff, like there's kind of a lot to know. But of course, it is a lot different now because there's so many videos. Like when I started, there was literally no YouTube videos. If you couldn't figure it out, you were kind of screwed. So
yeah, because you guys made the videos that taught everyone else how to make it or do
right.
it.
Absolutely.
That's the original pit tuning video. That was funny.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was both you and Stinger Swarm I learned pit tuning from quite a bit of.
Yeah.
And then, as far as getting smoothness down and stuff like that, I would try as hard as I could to, mimic what you were doing with my quad. So it's.
Oh wait, that's
Jake,
okay.
you're
That's chat
such a
popping up
fanboy.
here.
Yeah, so those are like highlighted chat things.
I
like
didn't
things
realize that. I thought that was like advertisement, so I wasn't reading it, and I was like, oh crap, those are people talking.
No, we're
Where's
not
the
big
chat?
enough to have advertisement. So you
man.
can, what we do is we pop it out on YouTube, but if you just look on the comments side, it's delayed, but you'll see it in the actual StreamYard. So I just highlight some for you that I see pop up that I think you should see.
Dark Horse is showing some love for the old man Pappy.
There's a couple in here that were like, oh my God, Schizo in the flesh.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's funny.
Right? We need the OGs to come back. You know what I mean?
Look at that. He's got like my video streaming in the background.
Jake's professional with that.
I wouldn't say professional. Come on now. Come on.
He loves doing that. It's good though, because honestly, my internet up here is garbage.
What's funny about this video is I had this. This is like one of the last times I flew.
Yeah, this was 5 months.
I think
ago,
this is like my late. This is probably like this is my latest.
Yeah, this was your last video.
Yeah, and this was literally this was I guess in the winter time. This past winter. And I got off work a little early, and I like ran over to the spot and flew. I had like one pack that still had been charged for like a year, and I was like, well, I guess it's time. And I went out there and flew like one pack, and I forgot to add my GoPro like not in super view, so that's why it kind of looks a little zoomed in, and I just said screw it and posted it anyway. So I tend to do that a lot because I use my GoPros for other things, right? Like I don't keep them in super view for like stick cam or those kind of things.
I think you're actually where I got that rewind move from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's like one of the coolest moves I can see. It's such an eye.
I think I actually originally got that from Johnny, like Johnny FPV way back in the day. He did the first like rewind that I saw that was like done well, and so I wasn't even really practicing them. It just started happening. I think I just subconsciously started picking that up. But yeah, he released like a really old video. I'm talking about like, you know, when nobody knew who he was. He had a video of him ripping around his front yard at his parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
And he did some crazy thing where he like went up the side of the tree and then kind of, you know, literally fell down the exact, the exact reverse of what he just did. And I thought he rewound it. I thought like, we always thought it was like editing tricks at first. And I was like, wait a minute. Oh yeah, you can actually do this. So kind of funny.
So what would it take to keep you motivated in this, do you think?
I think the main thing kind of keeping me back right now, or keeping me is time. You know, I have like a lot of things going on, so which is kind of funny because I'm not married and I don't have kids, so I shouldn't complain about that at all. But I'm just always wrenching and tinkering on stuff. We got like multiple car projects.
I know you've been playing.
I have an off-road vehicle that I'm working on. I have big helis that I've been building. I'm getting back into airplanes, so I'm just kind of getting.
Scare the crap out of me.
What's that?
Helis scare the crap out of me.
They are actually pretty terrifying. It's one thing that you kind of like, you know, I flew my first big one last week, and it was the most butt-puckering thing I think I've ever experienced. Like it was literally like, it's one of those things where like I'm definitely in control. I'm not scared of me just making the wrong input and decapitating myself or something. But there is definitely a level of like respect there. Like, you know that this thing is capable of just like murdering multiple people. So yeah, just that aspect of it, you know, it's like a giant, you know, lawnmower ripping through the air. So,
but for real, dude, you have 56,000 subscribers. I'm gonna pop this up on the screen.
That's kind of weak, right?
No, dude,
pull up Steel, and we'll talk about subscribers here.
What's he got? Like 4,000 or something like that.
400,000, not 4,000.
I'm kidding.
But 56 is huge considering you haven't been posting.
He does have really 400,000. That's why.
Yeah, man, he's killing it.
For real, you were an inspiration to a ton of people, and every time I see a little tease of you coming back or whatnot, it just.
I mean, I do get messages all the time going, "Hey, man, I don't know. I'm a war veteran suffering from PSD, or I lost my mom, or like that." Apparently I've helped a lot of people get through some tough times, and that was probably the coolest. That aspect alone is just really cool that people can kind of find that as like advice or like an escape to go to my channel. I just got a comment the other day saying, I'm new to FPV. I've been binging your channel. Like, where are you, kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you haven't been completely gone either. I mean, if you think about it, I noticed on, Get FPV or whatnot, they'll have, for instance, you got this sticker kit for the QAVR2.
Oh yeah.
That's dope.
I got that from when I was a kid. I liked Fruity Pebbles, and that's kind of where that concept came from. Yeah, I was nice. Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. I still love Fruity Pebbles, let's be honest, but I just don't eat it anymore.
Hey, Plumet's right. Plumet is right.
I'm stuck. I know, forever stuck. This was another one. This was another video where I didn't have Super View enabled. I was like, look, I have the same shirt on. Check that out. Boom.
And I'm sorry I don't have any audio to share, but it just doesn't.
No, it's all good
for me.
So have you been paying attention to like the new technology that's been coming out in the market at all?
That is like probably my weakest point, is I haven't been keeping up to date with stuff. Like, I've been hearing people talk about like Orca goggles, don't know what they are. I've been heard people talk about Radio Master radios, and I saw one the other day and I was like, that's kind of sick. So yeah, I've been kind of like, I still talk to people, but I haven't really been like researching the tech or anything. I know that, I think, didn't Fact Shark come out with like a long range setup, or they came out with Ghost, but Ghost has been in like prototype stage like since I can remember.
Yeah.
But isn't there like another, what am I thinking of? There's something else.
Shark Bite.
Shark
which is
Fly,
like
thank
their
you.
HD.
That's their HD
Yeah.
setup.
That's their HD competitor. Then I hear that is shit in comparison to DJI.
I think it depends on who you ask. I hear good
Of
about
course,
both.
that's always of course.
Right?
I never draw conclusions based on like some people saying stuff, but yeah. So I have heard the names and I kind of know a little bit about what's going on, but not really.
Yeah, Night Train says Ghost is immersion RC.
That's right.
That
yeah.
one, that's
I
for
actually
short
talked to
range
Anthony
only.
about that back like when Rotor Riot was developed. He was actually showing me the module. Like he's like, yeah, we've got something to compete with Crossfire. I was like, oh, sick. And then I never heard anything again for like 2 years. And so
yeah, it vanished.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's
you can
the
tell
only
the
thing.
chat's delayed.
I know.
They're
But
getting it.
I hear a lot of good things about DJI for real. I don't like the fact that like one of the things I don't like about DJI is they've got so much money in marketing that like that's all I see. Like you can tell that they just paid a bunch of people to say, "Hey, fly DJI." You know what I mean? So I don't like that. I know that it's good, but I think the biggest deterrent for me is I don't like the. I'm still kind of like a weight Nazi. Like I still like to have my drone as light as possible. I still don't have a Hero 8 or 9. I'm still flying the old GoPros. And I like them to be really lightweight. And I didn't like you had to put the little module in there, and you'd have to have like some of the frames that wouldn't even fit in.
Oh yeah.
And you have to change out all your setups, right? Like all my quads, like I'm on, like all my stuff is so old. Like I don't even have Crossfire. I still fly just standard S-Bus. So it's kind of funny, but I'm so behind the times, but I kind of know about stuff that's out there. Though I do have Crossfire here. Dude, if you saw like how many quad stuff, if you saw how much quad stuff I had, it's literally like, it's insane.
I think that it makes like more of a testament to your flying though, because you're still flying with all the old tech, the old things, and you're not using hyper smooth and stuff to cheat. Like that's your genuine flying. So that's pretty cool. Like that sets you apart from pretty much everyone else right now.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when everyone knows Real Steady, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when Real Steady came, like before they even came out, they actually sent me a message and they're like, "Hey, we know you're like a really smooth pilot. We want to use you as like a test to see if we can like make some of your worst footage just as smooth as your best stuff." Like they contacted me like way before it even came out, and then all of a sudden I saw everybody using it, and I was like, "What the hell?" And so I actually kind of like despised the Real Steady for a while because I thought it was like super cheating. You know what I mean? And but then I understood, like, you know what I mean? Like I was thinking about it more so like I don't know, like almost like back in the day, like I used to hate trendy bands just because they're trendy. Like it's not that they're bad or anything. You just hate them because everyone likes them or because it's good. I felt like it was a little bit of that. So but then I just realized the practicality and the usefulness of it, and you can't really freestyle with it per se. So we're able to live on the same block now. I guess you can freestyle with them. I don't know.
You can. It's just you got to know how to use it.
Just you can tell too, though.
So, yeah, you can definitely.
Like I can tell, like you can try to make it look not real steady, but I would know. Mm-hmm. There's just something that's like not organic about it.
Right, exactly.
But same thing with Hypersmooth too. I can tell when someone's using Hypersmooth.
Dang,
it does help though. It helps so much. For
sure, yeah. I don't really. I'm just saying, like when that first started coming out, I was like really, I had animosity towards it, and now I don't give a shit. Whatever floats your boat and makes you,
Well, some pilots are still against it, right? And then some, like I think Cricket said he always uses it.
Yeah.
But, like Hypersmooth.
And it's cool that he.
But other pilots are like, no.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's always going to be the case, right? You got those like hardcore pilots, but in all honesty, it does solve a lot of like PID tuning issues and vibrations and things like that, and it does look better. It does look better to the untrained eye, someone that might just be scrolling by your Facebook page and being like, oh, that's kind of nice to look at, versus like jittery, flippy, footage. So I don't know. I don't care anymore. I say do what you do what you want to do.
That's it. Just fly, exactly.
That's right.
So, do you still make money off of anything Schizo branded, like the props and the frames and stuff like that, or is your name just kind of being used even though you're not really around now?
Yeah, that's kind of funny. So I am not making money on any props anywhere. So if you guys are buying Skitzo props, I am not getting any of that. The only thing I make money on is t-shirts, like kind of like apparel from Get FPV or Lumineer, and my frame. And I think my motors, that ended up kind of being a joke. Like I came out with these hydro dip motors, but it ended up being like such a hassle. And it took literally, I think, 1.5 years for us to finally get them out.
Oh, these aren't the hydro dipped ones. These are
an OG motor. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the OG right here. I love these. I actually did a review for Get FPV.
Yeah, the only problem with that motor is the shaft can snap, and you'll I think, which one was that? Show me again.
These ones you can't tell because I got the green screen going, but these are the blue ones.
Yeah, those are it. Those
one had the good. This one, in my opinion, here I'll blow myself up here a little bit. Oh my gosh.
I can go back to solo too, so you can show it.
Oh, cool.
This one here, in my opinion, actually was the better of the motors that had your name on it. Because I had the old ones. Oh,
that's so funny. It's transparent. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know which. I still have a few sets of those in my basement.
But these ones were probably my favorite.
They're super smooth too.
2650 kV.
Mm-hmm.
But the older motors, I will say, the
purple one.
Yeah, the purple one and the gray one. Those ones, I would strip the hell out of those things.
Oh yeah.
They were yeah.
Well, anyway, to answer your question, if it's on Get FPV, I probably make some kind of money off of it. So the short answer is yes, I do make money on it. But I do not make very much. There's people profiting on my name for sure. That's not me.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I know that I've been getting your stickers in bags of props. Yeah, Skitzo Gem Fan props. They sell Galaxy props with your name on them. That's why I was asking.
So I did have a contract with them that ran out like months and months and months ago, though. So I don't know if they're still selling them.
Oh, so
it was probably no. Actually, I take that back. It was over 1 year ago that the contract ran out. So I don't know if they're still selling those.
Yes, so there's. I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie; these things are hella old.
But it's not. But what can I mean? It's China. What can you do, right? I'm just like,
yeah, you can't do anything once your name's on it. But it's good for people to know, right, that you're not getting anything for it, because I think people buy it assuming you're involved.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't want them to stop buying it. Like I am proud of that product. I thought that was really cool, and I'm not really trying to profit on it anymore. I just kind of want to do it for fun.
Yeah.
Because that's what Jake. Before.
I know you want to show it.
There was always I love the goat so much.
The goat.
I know, it's always his background.
Yeah.
I love the goat.
He's got his goatee, man. Yep.
So.
I have literally a crate of those in my basement.
I actually really
like a literal crate. Like it's huge. Like I have so many.
So
I actually really like them.
You do computer engineering, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what company is it that you work for now, or is that something you want to even disclose?
Oh, I don't care. No, so my entire background is video games. I've actually worked in the video game industry for a long time.
Oh, very nice.
And I worked for High Res out here in Georgia. So they worked on Smite and Paladins and Global Agenda and Tribes Ascend. I'm name dropping games right now, but anyway, I worked for them for a while, and then I opened up my own studio. This was before I discovered drones, by the way. And I made like 4 or 5 games that I released on Steam, and then I sold it to my business partner when I got into drones. And so a lot of that money from selling the company was really what I was living on doing this whole drone adventure. I was making a little bit of money, I wasn't making nothing, but not anywhere near what I would as an engineer, right? So I don't know. What was the story? What was the question? I don't even know what the hell. I'm like rambling on here.
I was just wondering what you do for a living. Where you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I did basically did a bunch of video game stuff, and then I did a little bit of projects with I worked for Coca-Cola for a short period of time. You might have seen like the vending machines, like the fountain machines. Have you guys seen the like Coca-Cola fountain machines with like the little circle buttons?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where you can pick the flavors?
Right, yeah, I designed that. And
Okay.
then
Oh, that's cool.
I did
I just used one of those the other day at the theater.
Nice. I did like the touchscreen interface and like the Ford Fusion.
What?
Just random, embedded stuff I've done. But now I'm in the casino industry. I make casino games. So.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Nowhere near as cool as video games, but it's super stable and it pays well. So I mean, we actually hired people during COVID, which is kind of crazy. So.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean,
yeah.
Can you do that from home, or is that something you go to the office?
We did it from home for a little while, but the boss likes to see people, so we have to come in now.
Nice.
I mean, I still work from home like a couple days a week here and there, but we definitely are back in the office full time.
So leaving and not flying too much, and then coming back, do you have that fear in you about flying places like this again, or are you just full on let's send it?
I haven't gone anywhere. That's the problem, is like by the time I'm able to actually get away and fly something, it's like the same two little office park spots that are just accessible. Like this spot right here is like 3 hours from me. So it's not exactly far, but it's definitely something that we require, to.
Well, you need 6 hours of driving plus the time to fly.
Okay, it's not 3 hours, but it's far-ish. But to answer your question, no, I would not be scared to fly at a spot like this. In fact, I probably could do better now. This thing was super sketchy because there's no way to get into it. Anyway, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, do you think you're going to upgrade some of your gear, or do you think you're just going to keep flying, like, if it isn't broke, don't fix it?
I am a 100% fan of if it's not broke, don't fix it. If I explode one of my drones that's like irreparable, then yeah, maybe I'll put together a DJI rig or something. Like I didn't personally see a point in Crossfire for me because I usually fly in like a kind of a condensed area like this, or I'm just like out in the field. Not that, I know the Crossfire protocol is fast, but never have I really flown and been like, man, if I only had, 8 more milliseconds, I would have been able to time that gap better. You know what I mean? So, yeah, anyway, the short answer is yes, I probably would upgrade if it's not working anymore, or, if I exploded enough. I'm still on this setup too. This is the same setup in probably the last 3 videos. I have the same 2 quads that I've had for the last 2 years.
Are you running 4S or 5S or 6S?
I was on 4S forever, and then I went to 5S when everyone went to 6S because I was like, I didn't like. I noticed that when I went to 6S, I was killing more electronics, like in general. Like, and I had this theory that 6S was. I mean, it's not really a theory. 6S is definitely harder on components, but it was weird to like have these like little mini flight controllers, right? And then you're pumping like 24 volts through it. It's way more likely for things to skip, jump to a different rail and short out and stuff. Moral of the story is I was killing flight controllers randomly, like unexpectedly, or ESC would burn up. This arguably could have been like flight 1, right? Not being able to handle. I know people say that they, catch on fire and stuff with 6S. Yeah. But as soon as I went to, I said, you know what? I went to 5S, and I had 0 problems with it. And then I talked to Preston from Flight 1. He's like, dude, 6S is where it's at. All of our stuff definitely can handle it. So I eventually made the shift from 5S to 6S probably about 2 years ago. So I'm on 6S now, and I've been on 6S for a little while. And luckily I haven't had any electronic failures because of it.
Are you flying 5-inch then, mostly?
Yeah, I'm still on the old school 5-inch tri-blade stuff.
Have you got any like micro setups?
I think I'm still flying V1S. I fly the.
Are you still flying V1S?
Yeah, I have.
That's awesome.
You have to understand, like HQ and GymFan, like they sent me more props than I've ever been able to break, and so I literally have a crate of V1Ss. So I'm like, why wouldn't I keep flying them, right? Like, I mean, they're free, and I have a ludicrous amount of them. And I not only that, I have V1S in like every color, every frickin' material they've ever made, and just anyway. So I also from Jim Fan, I have a ton of props from them. So it really just depends on what I decide to grab before I run out the door.
Dude, V1Ss were my absolute fave go-to. If they were available more, I would totally go to it. Now they have the V2S, which is decent, but it's still no.
Well, what are the steels like watermelon props? You know those?
The watermelons are good.
What are those though? Like, what is the design? Are those V2Ss?
Hold on, I'll find out the exact on those. They're good. I'm not a huge fan of them. I don't feel like I have as much battery life or punch per se.
Yeah, they sent me like a little box to try them out. I don't have anything negative really to say about them.
But I will say the Go Up Mountain's pretty good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the funny thing is I liked my Galaxy like Gem Fan props because they're a little slower, right? Yeah. Like they're actually not as fast, right? Like they don't spool up as fast as like V1Ss. Yeah. And I actually kind of like that because that like kind of supports my like floaty kind of style. So it was kind of funny. Like there were people that didn't like them because they weren't as like nimble, I guess. So if you're gonna fly and do like crazy flips like nonstop, like steel or something, you probably wouldn't like them. But I like them.
So I actually use your Galaxy props when I'm chasing dirt bikes because I find it's more responsive and it's quicker and it's just like I really like how they sound.
So you think they are quicker? Okay.
I fly DJI, so my drone's heavier in a sense, right? But I'm using a lighter frame because I'm using an iFlight frame, and then I run your props, and I find that combination of the frame with the hype train motors and your props has worked really well for me. Like I can go as fast as I have to go, and then I can stop on the dime, right? Like it's cool. I just find they're really responsive, and they cut through the air the way I need to, and they haven't really let me down, which is nice. Even in the winter, right? Like freezing cold out here, and other props break as soon as you hit a branch. And
they're definitely they're a little meatier, right? They're a little heavier than I think they're like a gram or two heavier than V1S. So that would make them a little less brittle when it's cold out.
Now the S3 is a 3.1 pitch, which is probably why I don't like them too much because I used to do like
the what? What'd you say? The S3?
Yeah, the S3, the watermelon props.
Oh, is that? I didn't know the code name for like the design or the model.
Those were the steel.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I know the watermelons.
And those were a 3.1 pitch. So
the things you have to also realize is like what Kat just said was like it's really a combination of things. It's not just like these props are better than that one. It really depends on like how heavy your setup is, what motors you're running, what if you're on 4 or 5 or 6S, and so. Yeah, I don't know. For like slow, floaty, freestyle stuff, I still kind of prefer my Galaxy props. I thought that the V1Ss are still cool. Hell, honestly, I still even fly like the really old. I don't know if you guys remember the really old HQ Skitzo prop, like the turquoise colored one.
I still have some of those.
Yeah, those fly amazing, but they just explode if they touch it. It's like the old school, like they literally just shatter into glass if they touch anything. But they fly.
I honestly don't know
really well.
I might not have seen them because I'm only 2 years, not even. I think I'm a year and a half into this.
No. Funny story about that though is that video you were playing. Remember, you were asking me, "Hey, would you be scared to fly here?" Like because you haven't flown in a while. I actually crashed there. This is just a funny story. I crashed in like one of those buildings, right? And I went in there, and I've never been to this spot. And like my buddy was like, "There's this gnarly spot out here. Come out," So he took me on a road trip. We went there. And so I crashed in the corner, went in there to recover my quad, and I saw like old school Schizo props broken like in there. So someone had already like taken my like super old props and had already raged in there and thrashed the place.
That's cool. Does that make you feel weird, like knowing that you have like a following and like people kind of idolize you that much?
I mean, I guess I don't know. Not really. It's such a small community, you know what I mean? It's kind of like being the world's like I don't know, like a world champion yo-yo guy. I mean, anyone that you walk around and ask at the grocery store, hey, do you know who that guy is? No, but if you are into yo-yos, you might know who he is. So it's like it's
Fair.
one of those things. It's just like such a small niche thing, but like it's pretty cool though. I've met so many cool people. And at the end of the day, we're both doing the same thing, right? Like we're just flying toys around and having a good time.
Yeah.
So I think
Dark
once people
Horse.
realize that, you know, it's like I don't know.
Dark Horse's question was absolutely amazing because I actually learned that I needed to use a ton of Expo because of your videos.
I've never. That's a weird. He asked if I still use. I've never used a ton of Expo.
Well, like
Or did I? Maybe I did like way back in the day, like way back in the day. I don't use very much Expo at all. I think I use like 25% or something. I guess that doesn't mean it. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, like my Expo curve, I think is like 25%.
Because I think when I was watching your videos, it was
it was probably more like
35.
60% back then or something.
35,
Yeah,
45 or something like that. And
Yeah.
that was a while ago. I'll be honest.
yeah.
But I still use 35% because I'm just so used to it now. My thumbs are.
Well, you should have a little bit of Expo, right? Like I mean, even with like the helicopters that I fly, I have Expo on them. It's horrifying without it.
Oh yeah.
Like nobody's hands are that smooth to not have some Expo. I don't
Do
care
you
who
do those
you
like
are.
TikTok things and stuff like that? Whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Oh, those scare them.
I don't do that.
It's
I kind
solid.
of just do like 3D sport flying where you just kind of like rip around inverted and, you know, do cool. I'll show you a video when we're done. But yeah, I haven't been doing it long enough to do the crazy, like aggressive, like you don't know what the hell's going on. You just see the tail flailing around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that stuff scares the.
Yeah, that's absolutely horrifying. They're also not even flying really much based on what they're looking at because there's no way they can tell what the hell's going on. It's kind of like a reaction based to your previous input kind of thing.
Right.
Have you thought about filming your flights and then posting those ones for your helicopters and planes and stuff?
So it's cool that you mentioned that because like I was always worried on my channel if I posted anything but FPV drone stuff that people might not like or appreciate it, or you know what I mean? Because you draw this crowd because like that they want to see you do that, but then you're like, hey, guess what? I make dolls now, you know, or something. I don't know, you know, like you just post some like random thing and people are like, no thanks. So I always kind of shied away from that.
You're more in the hobby still, because like it's still FPV. Right? It's not really like going from cars to dolls or something. Like you're staying within the hobbies.
Right. So yeah, I if I came back, if I did like truly come back, it would be for like many aspects. Like I have like, oh, you're watching. There's one. If people had audio right there, you see how gnarly that is.
Oh yeah, that thing scares the crap out of me. I wish I could throw. I don't know how to throw audio through.
That's all good. So what I was gonna say is, if I do come back, it will be like a lot of aspects of RC. Like I have a lot of like big like 5th scale RC gas driven desert buggies. Like I have big helicopters, I have big airplanes. It's gonna be, you know, kind of all over the place instead of just.
I agree with Broccoli. Just post it. It's all RC related. You're gonna get some haters, of course, but I think people will just be happier to see you actually producing something versus feeling like that creative block and not wanting to do anything.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I still have that kind of like, I'll go out and, you know, bash like my RC cars all day and I'll pull out like my big heli from the car and rip it around. And I'm like GoProing the whole thing. And then I go home and watch all of it. And I'm like, nobody's going to want to watch this. And it just sits on my hard drive forever. So I think I'm going to kind of go against my typical performance anxiety thing and just post it anyway. Hey, check it out. There's my E30. That's my old BMW that I restored myself.
Are you done with it yet?
Wow.
I'm still restoring it. As you can see, the front end is not on it, but
I would say there's no front bumper.
There's no front bumper because there's
fit that bumper
massive intercooler there that will not allow me to fit the bumper. What's that?
Oh, I was just saying, are you going to even be able to fit a bumper onto that thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually redesign. So this is a turbo kit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the kit was designed for the car. But I didn't know that it was designed without the intention of ever putting a bumper back on it. So I contacted the manufacturer. I was like, dude, like, I can't put the bumper on. What the hell is this? And they're like, yeah, you're supposed to rip it around with a massive intercooler
They're like, yeah.
And
yeah,
I'm like,
that's how we designed it.
I know. I'm like, well, I mean, it looks kind of cool, but it also looks like undone. So I'm like, Anyway, Steele hooked me up with this buddy of his that does like metal fab stuff. Yeah, he like owns a shop, and he's gonna design like a new like charge pipe and intercooler like setup, so I can actually bolt it on there.
Nice.
So you're delving onto my Facebook, man. What's going on?
I had to, man. I had to. That's where I saw most of this stuff popping up. I mean,
this is where his creeper status gets higher in your books, and you're just gonna be like, I have to keep an ie on this Jake kid.
Calm down.
You flag him.
Calm down.
Wait, scroll down to the that Heart Nebula shot that I took. Right there, boom. I took that from my driveway. Yeah.
Really?
That's sick.
Yeah.
What did you use?
A telescope.
That was Raza 8-inch.
Dang.
That's
sick. So Celestron Raza 8-inch. It had like a 1.9 focal ratio, like super fast. No, was it? I think it's even faster than that. I go through different telescope setups all the time. I bought all this stuff, took that shot, and then immediately sold it all, and then put it into my old BMW. So I don't even have that telescope setup anymore. So I'm gonna get something else even cooler, I think.
What area are you in to be able to get a shot like that, or was it just like the perfect timing, like it just lined up in your sky?
No, I mean, so I'm far enough away from Atlanta to get some pretty decent shots, but there's definitely anyway, I'm far enough to be away from the Atlanta light glow, but it's definitely, you can see quite a bit of light pollution in my area still. But the benefit to that shot, the one that he's looking at now and the one that we were looking at, is those were narrowband, which narrowband obviously filters out the normal light wavelengths that's emitted from like the moon or, city lights, things like that. So that will only allow essentially the band that you're trying to look at. Like this is hydrogen alpha that allowed to go through the lens. So anything that's not hydrogen alpha basically gets filtered out. And so that is the gas that the Horse Nebula emits that's hydrogen alpha. That's normally red, I guess, if you would look at it with your eye. But that's just a grayscale shot.
Dude,
that's so cool.
This stuff is so cool. I mean, regardless on if it's just FPV or not, you coming back could include all of this stuff. In all honesty, when I learned that you were into this stuff, and that's why a lot of your stuff actually contained a lot, like the nebula hat and the nebula backgrounds and stuff like that. That's where that's all inspired. That's all your passions, man, and we all like seeing that.
Yeah. Well, I think that everyone probably kind of also shares that passion too, I hope.
I love that.
Yeah. It was kind of funny because I was working this like dead end office job one day, I was always like on the space.com reading like articles about space, right? Because I'm a space nerd, but more like actual space, not like sci-fi space. Yeah. But I would read articles all the time, and I remember seeing like this telescope setup, and I was like, man, it'd be so cool to have a telescope. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm an adult and I can make money. Why don't I buy a telescope? I finally that was the realization. I was like, wait, why don't I always wanted a telescope, and I thought about it multiple times, and I just never did it. And finally I bit the bullet, and so I went down a huge rabbit hole, just like restoring that BMW did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, cars take a lot out of you.
Oh my God.
Cars are such a labor of love.
Oh yeah, it's not. There was like so much. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, like I don't seem like a violent person, right? Like I don't seem like an angry person, right?
No.
But working on that car will pull out a side of me that you do not want to know, that I didn't even know existed. And yeah, there's just like a funny story where like I've never worked on a car beyond oil changes and changing a flat tire, right? So I decided to restore that car, and I learned everything on YouTube. And I got to the point where I was I rebuilt the entire engine in my garage, put it back in the car. And once I sat it down, I forgot to hook up one of the coolant lines to the back of the head. And you only have about an inch from the back of the head to the firewall. So I basically was like, okay, let me see if I can just like snake it through there and somehow bolt it up when you have no room to do that. But I kept trying it. And eventually I literally I just freaked out and just like kicked my fender as hard as I could. And it caved the whole thing in. And I was like, oh, that's okay. I'll just go buy a new one. I was like, oh, $500 imported from Germany. That's cool. So yeah. It was a $500 kick, essentially.
Yeah. That was a learning lesson.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, all right, if you're going to rage, go kick the tree or something. Don't kick something that's hard to replace. Anyway, moral of the story is, yeah, you have to have like a special kind of patience to work on cars too, man, because they really do test. Like, you know how it is. Like you're wrenching on a rusted bolt, or there's like something that like won't go as planned. Like if it would have gone as planned, it would have taken 10 minutes, but instead you're spending your entire weekend on it. It's very frustrating. So anyway, yeah, we've gone down this long tangent. But
it's true.
But now
it's
I have this
true.
like a special appreciation for this specific car, and it will never leave my arsenal. I go through cars like all the time, and this one's gonna stay in my garage probably for at least a few years.
Is this one yours?
Yeah, that's my Supra.
Jelly. Jelly. Straight jelly.
Yeah, that's just.
That's gotta be a fun
I actually sold my M2 competition and bought this, which I know a lot of people out there will be like, "What the hell are you thinking?" But I did it for two reasons. For one, the Supra looks sick as shit. I'm sorry, like
for sure.
When I drive that car around, like people freak out, right? But when I would drive this like an even more rare BMW around, nobody gave two shits about it. They're just like, oh, it's a cool like BMW. Because the problem with BMW is they all look the same, like the M2, the M3, the M4. Like you have to be a car guy to know the differences between them. They all look the same. They're just either like a little bit wider, or a little bit longer. So when I drive that thing around, people like freak out about it. The only car that can trump that Supra is my old BMW. If I drive the E30 around, like I get people flailing their arms around, trying to like honking at me, like laying on the horn, like waving, like just freaking out. I drove it to the grocery store the other day, and there was like 5 high schooler guys out there. They all started like whistling and pulling out their phones and stuff. It's so funny to see like this much cheaper car draw way more attention than any of my really expensive cars. It's kind of funny how that works.
That's awesome. See, I think if you post that stuff, like, I think people honestly just want to see you making content. I don't think they care.
The thing about the car thing is, to me, like this is the first ever. I had that Supra for like a year, and nobody even knew I had it, right? And so to me, I have this weird like thing where like if I post it's almost like what is the right word? Like bragging about it. Like I think when I post my Supra, I'm like, hey guys, check out what I have and you don't have.
Dude, still flexes his all the time.
Yeah, flexing. Thank you. Like I know, but I'm just not the kind of person to do that. I don't want to like.
Dude, you own it. Take pride in it, man.
I know, but and I do. I drive it around happy and all that stuff. And I'm just saying, I'm not like, hey. To me, I just look at it that way when I post a photo of like something. Obviously of value. I'm like, hey, look at what I've accomplished and you haven't, kind of thing.
Oh.
Which it doesn't mean that, and I think a lot of people know that, but just it's this weird, like, just the way I think about things. So I don't like to brag about things. So.
Do we have the headset? Is that the Corsair?
Is what?
Headset. Is that the same headset?
The Corsair? Oh yeah. Okay. I thought you were talking about my headset in the
No.
photo.
I was just looking at your headset.
Yeah, it's the black one.
Thing. I got the white one.
Yeah. That's
oh my gosh, Jake.
I'm sorry, I had
such a little fanboy.
Dude,
I think they would call you a simp in the gaming world.
Yeah.
My gamer tag, one of my clan tags in Call of Duty is simp.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That's horrible.
All right, everyone says humble.
Everyone just says you're humble.
Fair. That's fair.
Humble, yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
No, yeah, I mean, if you like go to like my Instagram, there's like one photo of like one of my cars on there. So I'm just kind of.
There's a way to post it tastefully, though, right?
I know.
And then there's the way to post it that's a flex.
Right. Well, I haven't learned that part because I feel like it's kind of.
I flex
like
my truck all day. It's nothing
I think
special.
The only reason I even posted that one on Facebook is because I was in it. I thought it was kind of cool to be like, hey, I got the trunk open and my quad stuff's in it. And I've got my Fat Shark goggles on, so it was kind of like, a little bit more relatable than, hey, check out this random shot of my car,
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like that works. Or even if you make a post and you're like, hey guys, I know I haven't been posting, but this is what I've been working on.
Right.
And then you show your car, right? Like nobody's going to think that's a flex. That's just you staying connected.
Well, in the E30, I did do that. I am actually super proud of that. In fact, that one was more of a money hole than... I've spent way more money on that old BMW than I will ever see. And it got to the point where I started adding up the receipts and I was getting really depressed. And I was like, well, I'm going to stop doing that. it was like a realization that I was like, I've already dug this giant hole. I might as well keep digging and make it exactly how I want.
Are there any of these anywhere that I could get them?
What? Oh, those are the motors I was trying. I think I didn't finish my story. So obviously we hydro dipped the frame, and I was like, that's sick. Can we do those on the motors? And they're like, sure. They sent me a sample. I was like, let's do this. I went to mass produce these. And so when they got to the point where they were mass producing them, they were having balancing issues. Like once they piece it all together and they would do their little test, right, where it would spool it up to whatever kV, it wasn't balancing. So they ended up having to throw away, I think, like 400 motors, I think, out of the 1,000 that they produced.
Man.
Because of, and you can't reuse the materials. It's just kind of like they threw them out. So it ended up just being just not worth it. And so I think it was more than that, actually. I think we originally planned to do 1,000, but they had to throw out like 600. So we originally got 400, which obviously sold out like instantly. But those, so those will never exist again. We just decided not to go down that route because it was just too much of way too wasteful. So I might just release that motor without, like maybe just do a cool color combo or something.
Joey wants to know if you and Steele are going to have a friendly race with your cars.
That's so funny. So we have gone to the track a few times, but we've never actually raced or anything.
That would be probably a really good video, is if you guys raced and someone chased you with the drone.
Dude.
And then it's like chasing Skitzo and Steele, or that'd be hilarious.
The funny thing about that is, like, I think he would probably win because, like, I don't know, like as I've gotten older, I've gotten kind of like a wuss behind the wheel. So when I took that Supra out to the track and actually like went ham on it, I had to the cars have gotten so insane now and so fast and so capable that you have to literally not give a shit about your life going into a corner at that speed, because it's so insane what they can do. And so I drove within what I thought was a comfortable speed, and or actually, no, I was slightly uncomfortable, like out there on the track doing what I was doing, and it was doing it like it was nothing. So I don't know if I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know if I have the balls to really push the cars seriously. Like, it's just like, I'm out there to have fun. I'm definitely not out there to prove myself in any kind of way. I guess that's probably what a grandpa would say. I just realized that. I sound really old right now, but
technically,
I don't know. I thought I was going ham, but maybe I wasn't compared to people that go out there to the track all the time. And I was, driving within my comfortable. I was, just a hair above, uncomfortable. So
Royal wants to know what video you are most proud of or had the most fun filming.
Most proud of versus,
or the most fun filming.
So I have two. So the one I had the most fun filming was probably when I don't know. Do you have my channel open? Can you pull up my video list? He's like, of course I do. I have a bookmark. I'm just kidding.
Oh man,
it's on his. No, he has a desktop shortcut.
Desktop shortcut.
It
was the one where I went to.
It says meow and it has a heart around it.
Right. It was the one where I went to Alabama with Steele, God, and I guess maybe it was Rotor Riot. I don't remember. Was Drew there?
Where did you
go? Go down. Hey, maximize. I don't remember the name of it. It was older. Go down. Scroll on down. Look at my goofy face on half of these. Is it a Bando Land? Maybe? No. It's definitely not down that far. I don't know what it's called.
Freddie, stop that. Hey.
Who's Freddie?
Oh my gosh. Gretty. It's one of my cats, and it's every show. I was laughed at last week because I told them.
Oh wait, go down.
Cat that I was going to throw something at him.
No, not pipes. Damn it. Anyway, I'll link it to you. It's basically one where I went and flew like above like roller coasters. There was like a bunch of roller coasters, and there was like this section. It was like an abandoned water park or some shit, and I can't remember what the hell it was called. I make the titles of these up like as it's definitely not down that far. I don't think it was.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Jay can keep looking, or
yeah,
I know what you're talking about. I actually think that's a Rotor Riot video.
It probably was like, yeah, but I released my own like separately. But essentially, yeah, we basically just went. It wasn't an abandoned water park, but it was just like closed down, and the people there were like, "Come on out and fly, everyone!" So we have free reign on this giant water park, and of course, I had to slide down. Yeah, this one. So this one was insanely sketchy because I don't know if it was because of the track, but the video was so bad. It was just pure static the entire time. And a lot of this stuff would not be very recoverable. I'm terrified of heights. So if I would have had to actually go up there and get one of these, it would have not been.
Go fly that with some DJI.
Yeah, DJI wasn't out, I don't think, at this time. Yeah. But yeah, if we went back there, I would definitely much rather prefer DJI at this point.
I actually fly in still buildings all the time in our Metro Park arena.
I have a funny story about this particular. So we go out there and there's like a couple locals that show up, and the guy was like what was it? I think his name's James. Really cool guy. I have to look at. I like him. I haven't talked to him in a while. But basically, he was so excited to meet me, and he was there, and I was flying. And it was just kind of, I set my radio down on like one of the, those big like outside trash cans, I set my radio down on it because I just finished flying. He was introducing himself and he was so nervous and stuff. I don't know if he was really that nervous. He kind of acted like it, but he backed up into the trash can and knocked it over, and my radio fell down like directly onto the pavement, gimbals down, and destroyed the radio. And he was like, "Oh my!" And keep in mind, we drove 4 hours to the spot, and I don't have an extra radio, obviously, because I'm not planning on exploding a radio. And he was so like upset, and he was like, "Dude!" And so he drove like an hour and a half to buy me a Spectrum radio so I could just have something. Yeah. And in meantime, at this point in time, somebody gave me their really crappy Spectrum. This is like their cheapest Spectrum radio. And I was like, I'll rage on this little this is me flying with a really crappy Spectrum radio. Though.
Oh, the 6i.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice down here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So someone like offered it, and I was like, all right, coll. I bound it and went. So it was kind of interesting.
That is an old radio too. Oh. Because weren't you flying the 9 at that point?
I think I was on the DX9. Yeah. This was back when I flew Spectrum. I don't really fly them anymore, but
I noticed you're in Futaba now.
Yeah, I have Futaba. I do have a Spectrum radio though as well. I have the new. I even paid cash for it because I always get. I used to get Spectrum stuff for free, but I do have a Spectrum radio for my helicopters.
Which one are you using?
The NX8, which I guess is the new DX9.
Oh, I've never even heard of that one. I've seen
look.
the IX12 and IX16.
Look, it's so cool. Stop it. Yeah. Anyway, this is basically like their new DX9, I guess.
That's not bad.
The only reason I got this though is because the very first helicopter I really tried to fly was like one of the Horizon Hobby, like bind and fly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so easy because like you pull it out of the box, put it in bind mode, and then they already have like a model in the radio, like already set up with what channels you need, and you don't have to worry about like anything. So that's why I bought that originally. So that just kind of turned into my heli radio now. And plus, Futaba is expensive as shit because Futaba receivers. I think the Futaba receiver for the helis are like $400 a piece.
What?
So, no joke.
That is why I don't fly Futaba.
Yeah. Well, so for the heli though, it is a fly controller and receiver combo. It's like a box that handles.
Oh, gotcha.
But still, $400 is you guys can the drone industry complains about fly controller costs. I'm like, guys, you have no clue. Like it is expensive. The Spectrum one's even $200. So. Anyway.
Now, it cheaper, like, do you break less when you're flying heli, so it works out cheaper that way, or?
No, you break a hell of a lot more if you crash a helicopter.
So then you're breaking $400 more frequently.
So you don't break. Okay, so the fly controller, I mean, you'd have to go in really hard to destroy the fly controller. But yeah, like, if you compare a helicopter, like one of these big helicopters versus like a drone crash, it's like not even comparable. Like the helicopter is almost like a complete rebuild. Hundreds of dollars if you crash.
Wow.
The idea is to not crash though. Like in drones, you can crash.
Yeah, I know with wings it's the same because Rich flies wings, and his wing, like, he
Yeah.
did a pilot error and now it's decimated, right? And that's
Well,
it.
yeah,
You're
for
done.
sure. It usually goes in pretty good, right? And so with the helis, though, the biggest contributing factor is they have really big carbon fiber props, right? So if you break carbon fiber props, it's like $100 right there.
Yeah.
So it's really, you just kind of tell it, dude, you're diving deep. This is so old. This spot doesn't even exist anymore.
Really?
Yeah, they destroyed
Bro,
that spot.
When I first started flying FPV, this was one of the few spots that I frequently saw on, whether it was Facebook or YouTube.
Well, yeah, because this was an old abandoned trailer park. So you can actually see, if you see in certain areas, there'll be little cement plots.
Yeah, like right here.
Yeah. So that would be, I guess, where they would park their cars. Yeah, but this had been abandoned since before, I was there. But I learned how to fly here. This is the first spot I ever did any proximity or anything.
Yeah, I got ballsy with trees because of this
Nice.
place, to be honest
Good.
with you.
But yeah, this is actually so this is a hotel now. There's a hotel and a retirement home, or you know what I mean? Like I don't know what you call it.
Nursing home or whatever.
Nursing home, thank you. Yeah, there's a nursing home there. So some of those trees still exist, but it does not look anything like that anymore. But this was vacant forever, so like this was perfect. I remember the construction guy that owned, or I don't know, the guy that oversaw the overall development of all this. He came out one day and watched me fly, and he's like, I want to tell you, he's like, this isn't going to be here forever, but you're more than welcome to fly here whenever you want. So it kind of turned into like my, the training grounds. And he told me that they were going to develop within a year, and we actually ended up having it more like 3 years before they really developed. So
I was going to say, I remember that you guys frequented this spot quite a bit.
Yeah, I went there all the time, like more so than, because it was dubbed, we nicknamed it the trailer park, right? That's just literally what we call it. We have to come up with code names, right, for all the spots. And I always wanted to fly there. I loved that spot. It was just, there was something about it that flowed well. I just had a lot of fun there. And I got, every time I'd be like, everyone would be like, where do you want to fly? I'm like, I just want to go fly some trees around the trailer park. They're like, of course you do. And so everyone else got sick of it, but I didn't.
I think that one and this one, this spot was pretty good, if I remember right.
The hell is this? The stables?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the
I love that you're
stables.
like, what is this?
Yeah, that's my buddy on the DJI. Yeah, so we obviously call this the stables because there's literal horse stables that we fly through here. This spot's really cool too because it's like where a bunch of rich people do equestrian stuff, right? But they only use it like 2 weeks out of the whole summer. So we go up, there's just always vacant.
Wow.
So we obviously make sure there's no horses in there before we try to fly there. But yeah.
Dude, I would love to see what you could do now out in these places, to be honest with you. Well, I mean, obviously.
I actually flew here. If you look at my the flight for Dad, that was actually like when my dad was like not doing so hot in the hospital. Right there, a flight for Dad. Do you see it?
No, I am blind.
It's like the 8th video on that. What you're seeing? A flight for Dad. Your cursor's right next to it.
This one?
To the right. That one.
I can't take it anymore?
Oh, no, I was looking at I was looking at the thumbnail. Yeah, you were looking at the title. I'm bad. Okay, my bad.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay.
Yeah. So this was if you want to fast forward it, this was the last time, or a more later flight at the stables.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I was kind of flying a lot more smooth here. This is back when. Get my own. What's that?
What angle do you fly at?
This is about 20 degrees, probably something like that. So I kind of noticed that like I fly like slower now, but just smoother, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. Do you notice a little bit different, like a difference in the flying style just from that old video and this one?
Yeah, it's definitely smoother.
Yeah, I kind of looked at it more like, how can I make this look interesting and smooth instead of just like.
That was cool.
I still try to keep it like, a little. I don't know. Anyway, this was this was still a while ago, but I haven't been back there since since that flight, actually.
So what's next with you then? Are you going to come back and actually start making content, or are you kind of still like, you'll come when you have time, but you're not making anyone any
No,
promises?
I'm actually thinking, so I have a ton of videos. So I went and looked at my, so here's the thing. I actually make videos. I used to make videos all the time. And then, so what I would do is I would edit the video, right? Then the next day I would watch it. And if I hated it or loved it would depend on if I posted it or not. So a lot of them didn't make the cut. So I have enough footage to go daily for probably the next 3 months.
Oh, dang.
Wow.
I'm not just footage of flights. I mean, like actual full edits that are already done. Yeah, they're just done, ready to pull the trigger on. So I decided that worst case scenario, I'll just start launching those like twice a week or something. But I'm going to be posting, like, I think I'm going to come up with like a regular schedule where I post like every Tuesday and Friday or like whatever the hell it would be.
Dude, I don't know about everybody else, but I would love to see that.
Yeah, I've never tried scheduled based stuff. You know what I mean? I always just like release whenever. So I'm thinking about trying a schedule. Yeah, they flew. They flew. He visited recently, and they flew there. Yeah.
So how is your relationship
with the
Rotor Riot guys?
What's that?
How is your relationship with like the current Rotor Riot guys and stuff like that? You still hang with Stinger quite a bit and all that stuff?
Well, Stinger is not. He hasn't been a part of Rotor Riot in a long time.
Oh, I know he's not, but yeah, I guess.
I don't even know who Rotor Riot is now. I guess it was. I know Zoe was on there, but I don't know if she's on there anymore.
So it's Zoe, Vanover, Drew. Bubby's new, but honestly, I think you'd probably love him. He's incredible. He's like a young guy, Caleb, super nice.
I've seen him. I know of him. I'm not like, yeah.
Yeah, so he's the newest Rotor Riot. Vortex is still there. Bardwell, of course.
I love Vortex. He's a cool dude.
I'm trying to think of who else. Cricket. Yeah, it's Cricket, Vanover, Vortex, Drew, Bubby, Zoe. Who am I forgetting? Oh, no. Drew has his friend that sometimes.
Did you say Bardwell?
Yeah, Bardwell's still there.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
I have no animosity with any of them. If that's, I don't have a problem with any of them, actually.
Nice.
If they wanted to do some filming, I would hang out with them.
The question I was going to ask that I thought was cool was Joey's question here. If you could fly FPV on any planet in our galaxy, which planet or moon would it be?
Oh, shit. That's a cool ass question.
That is a cool
question.
I've never been asked something that creative, so props to that. Let's see. Oh, man. So the problem with like our planets is they're not really that interesting. Like if you were actually, like Jupiter looks really cool, but if you were actually to be inside of Jupiter, it would look like just like nothing, right? Just a bunch of like storms and gas and like. Anyway, it would have to be a moon. Maybe Io. I think Io.
Whose moon is Io again?
It's a moon on Jupiter. On Jupiter, one of Jupiter's. And
yeah.
I think
I knew what you meant. Don't worry.
I think it's unless I've got that wrong, but one of their moons have one of Jupiter's moons has this volcano that is constantly erupting, and actually is such a major eruption that it's actually shooting out of its ozone. So the actual lava is shooting into space.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, so I think that would be kind of an interesting thing to see.
Have you seen the drone video where they're flying the volcano?
I did, actually.
What'd you think of that?
I was actually surprised he didn't die. Or not
Apparently
him,
nothing
but
melted.
No, I'm surprised
nothing
that
melted,
his
nothing
drone
was
didn't
damaged.
just fall out, because you think,
That heat is so extreme.
Yeah, you would think it would just like fall, like the props would just melt or something, because even being that that high up, it would definitely melt stuff. But I thought it was really cool. I was just like going through Facebook, and I was like, oh shit. that was anyway, that was really cool. But yeah, to answer that question, I think that it would be really cool to see that crazy volcano stream.
Yeah.
Michael said you should post your old footage like on the Tuesday and then new footage on like the Thursday. And then it
Ooh,
shows
that's not a bad
progression.
idea. That's not a bad
That would
idea.
be super cool, actually, especially if you did like location-based videos.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
really
because
cool.
I didn't know how much, because I guess we've kind of gone away from vlogs now, right? Because I kind of stopped doing content when we got like really vlog heavy. And I guess we're kind of not doing that anymore, right? Because that was like a trend, and now I think I'm just seeing more flight edits now. Oh yeah, this is where I fell safe on top of a building.
See, if you were using Crossfire, you might not have said fail safe. Just saying.
He has it, he said. It's right there. He could throw it at you.
I said if he was using it.
This is true. I would have to install it though.
It's very easy.
So this is us going into like the building. We're like, hey, yeah, he went and retrieved my drone on the roof because he said because of security reasons and safety, I'm not allowed on the roof, obviously. So the security guy goes and gets it, and he has to take down like all my information, like, you know, how old are you? Give me your license. Like and I was like, wait a minute, you guys pressing charges? Like, what is this about?
You do not look pleased. That's for sure.
I was pretty pissed. I was like, just give me my drone.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, why?
Well, I think it was because like he didn't have enough time to really analyze what was happening. He just walked up there and grabbed it. But I think it was mainly for like, hey, that's a China Hobby Line battery, 6S. That's like right when I switched to 6S.
Huh.
So, where was I going? Oh, I think it was because like if there was any kind of like, you know, if I caused any damage to the building or something, they would have like, you know, they'd have like a documentation of, hey, oh, this guy was here, right? Yeah. I definitely wasn't.
I guess, yeah, if there was damage they found later or something.
Right. I know that was the thing that kind of worried me. Is like, well, what if someone else comes here and smashes a window with a drone, and now they have my name on file?
And then they're like,
you know,
oh, it was like, this guy.
Right. So I definitely wasn't proud or happy about that whole situation. Damn, what is this? I don't even remember this.
This was the end of that video.
Oh shit.
Dude, I do the same thing though. I've probably got.
I forgot I flew here.
So many terabytes of footage that I've never used.
Yeah, that was one thing. We have a lot of really cool office parks here. They're always like really well groomed. Yeah, this is like right when I switched to 6S. I was like, oh shit, I'm going way too fast. Let me hop up in the air for a minute. You know what I mean? Because when you start cooking forward on 6S, man, you start building up some speed.
Oh yeah. So I've been using 6S for chasing dirt bikes and monster trucks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I've gotten used to it a little bit.
Go ahead, Kat. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna tell everyone else, like, if they've got any last couple questions for you.
Yeah.
They should ask it now.
I like community questions.
That's what we're waiting on. I'm like, where are these questions? Usually they're more.
What is
chatty.
that? Is that a Persian cat? What is that?
No, gosh, no. He's Chinese.
I can't tell. Oh.
He's technically Thai. He's actually a Thai, which is like a type of Siamese.
Cute.
He's purring and very happy right now, so he's just annoying. But I'm trying to put him. I left a VIP seat up for him so he would leave me alone, and obviously it didn't work.
What got you into FPV of all things?
Another thing, I've always, you know, I'm always like searching for things like when I'm working because I'm so bored at work sometimes. So I was actually, what was I doing? I was interested. I got a DJI Phantom. I bought a DJI Phantom like way back, like a Phantom. It was called a DJI Phantom 2 Vision Plus. Is that what it was called? Yeah, Phantom 2, if that gives you a timeline. And I bought one of those, and I was trying to FPV it like this. I was trying to I thought I could, since it had a camera on it, that I could just rip it around, but it's obviously not like that. So I started Googling and looking up on YouTube, and I found like Blackout the Drunk and Metal Danny and those guys over there freaking shredding through the trees like, you know, like Star Wars, you know. So yeah, once I saw that, that's when I dove down like the mini quad route. But I started out with a DJI Phantom, believe it or not.
How'd you get the name Skitzo? Joey asked.
Oh, there's no cool answer to that. I just thought it sounded cool. It was like a cool originally, like in the video game world, everyone called me J Money because that was like my gangsta name, right? Like, everyone has like a gangsta name, and mine was J Money, and I thought that sounded lame, obviously, as one would. So yeah, I came up with Skitzo because I thought it sounded neat.
That's hilarious.
There was no cool backup story. I wish so many people have like cool backup stories about how they picked their name. But yeah, I didn't even use it as a gamer tag even.
I think if you tried to come out as J Money, you wouldn't have done as well as you did as Schizo.
No way. Yeah, who would take that seriously?
Schizo was brandable.
The one thing though is I hate having to try to tell people how to spell it, because every time people will be like, "What's your channel?" I'm like, Skitzo, and they're like, "How do you spell that?" I'm like, and I'll tell them. They're like, "I won't remember that." I'm like, "Never mind."
I don't know why. It's not even hard. Like,
two funny things though that have happened to me in the past is playing Rocket League, which I play, and I was playing under, because normally I play with aliases, right? Like just random crap like J Money or whatever. And this time I made an account under the name Skitzo. Actually, Skitzo FPV. I actually put that as like my actual gamer tag. And and this guy was like, "You're not the Skitzo." I was like, "Yeah, I am." He's like, "Dude, I watch your YouTube channel all the time." And I was like, "What?" So I came across someone that like knew who I was in Rocket League, which was kind of funny. And one sketchy situation was, on my way home from work, this guy followed me like all the way home to my driveway, and he was like a Southern dude, you know what I mean, like a big dude. He had like a shotgun rack in the back, and he was talking about like a good old boy. And I was like, what did I do? Did I cut him off? I was trying to like reiterate the possible mistakes that led up to this point. And he got out, and he's like, "Hey, are you Skitzo?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I watch your channel all the time. Keep it up, dude." And then like he was like, "Hoo!" and like drove off, and I was like, "What the hell just happened?" So yeah,
you
were
just creeped right out.
Yeah, like I thought I was gonna get murdered, and it turned out to be like this, like a fan. It's so unlikely too, right? Some like random like hillbilly. It was kind of cool. So
that's awesome.
It was cool, also terrifying. So
yeah, that would have been scary.
But yeah,
it's cool seeing how many people are so excited to see you on the channel right now. And
what is that? The old school.
This is
dark matter.
The old dark matter frame.
Oh my god, my first frame ever, guys.
You have no idea how many times I have tried to break this.
It's pretty foolproof. Yeah.
I was at this local like race type dealio thing that we had going on one day.
I bet you smashed that lens quite a few times though.
Oh yeah,
I've the skin protrudes like, or the lens protrudes like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I got so mad at this quad, and it wasn't the quad that I was mad at. It was probably my flying, and I straight chucked this thing. It must have been 20, 30 yards, just as high as I could. And it still has, and I hope you don't get offended, but I still have Freibot motors on it. The OG Freibot.
Yeah, those are awesome. The oil dipped ones.
Yeah. And I can't break this thing. I mean, I could literally throw this across the room.
Dude, that frame is like the old school Nokia phone. You could like drive over it with your car and it will still be alive. Like
100%. Yeah. 100%.
It's kind of funny.
And it's still got the original stickers on here too.
I actually have, I still have that frame in a box untouched. Like I kept, every time I make a product, I always like hold on to one that's like never going to be touched.
It'd be so nice to find one of these when they went on sale, because you had come out with the Nova frame and stuff like that. I was kind of bummed out.
I still have the Nova frame that I did. I don't know if you saw it, but I did a Rick and Morty themed Nova frame.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. And there's only one that exists. Like I got permission from like one of my buddies. Actually, it's kind of funny. My buddy that designed my logo works for Cartoon Network on Rick and Morty and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of funny.
Oh,
but anyway,
cool.
I got permission from him. And I was like, "Hey, I want to make a sticker like for my frame." And he's like, "That's cool, but you can't sell it." And I was like, "Damn it. Okay, well, I guess then this will be like a rare." So I have a Nova frame with Rick and Morty skin on it that I'll probably do a giveaway on or something.
Bro,
I feel like I should go get it and show it to you guys.
You should go get it.
Please.
Hang on.
Please.
I've got to go find it.
10 minutes for people to figure out any last questions.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, you guys get 10 minutes for your final questions for Skitzo.
I would do horrible things for that frame.
It's the new Klondike bar for you.
What would you do for a Klondike bar? Oh my goodness. Horrible things. Unspeakable things.
Well,
That's horrible.
how do you win the Rick and Morty frame? We'll see if you can decide the contest today. But we are going to end around 9:30, guys, just because I know Mad Chiller and their stream is on at 10. So it gives a little bit of time for everyone to go do some shit before you tune into their channel. And Jake will have a recap of this up for next week. So if you want to rewatch any of the highlights or anything question-wise, you can do that. Which one's that?
It's just a Fat Shark battery. I decided to stick a little.
You just stuck a sticker on it?
Yeah,
That's hilarious. I have the Rick and Morty sound pack on my QX7.
I do too. Well, it was on my QX7.
I still use it. I love the QX7. I was thinking about switching to the Tango, but I don't know.
You too, Michael. Bro, I can't wait.
Thanks for coming by, Michael.
I found it.
People are asking how they're going to be able to win this frame from you.
So
That is cool. Yeah, I remember
had
that.
to use, obviously, Rick's hair.
What horrible, awful, unmentionable things do I have to do to get that from you?
Right, this thing is like, obviously I put it together. This was going to be my quad, but then I was like, this is so cool. I'm not gonna fly it.
That's sick.
So I might do it like a fun giveaway at some point. I have like so many things I could do giveaways on.
Like I said, horrible, unexplainable things that should not be mentioned.
That's funny.
Logie said, "What has been your most?" He wants to know how he can win the frame. A bunch of people want to know that. And then we also got Jordan who wants to know your most sketchy quad retrieval.
Man, these are all like, I have to dive into the brain vault here.
Good. I'm glad we've got your brain engaged. Maybe it'll get your creative juices flowing.
I don't know about the sketchiest, but I have a memorable one. I was diving this elevator shaft in an abandoned, they basically started building this, what we nicknamed the concrete explosion because it was like a half-built skyscraper. And long story short, the guy that was actually building it, I guess, like went bankrupt, so they stopped building it, and then he committed suicide. It was kind of like crazy. But anyway,
my gosh.
So it was just this building just sitting there, like, but not gross. It was like, you know what I mean? Like it was like half concrete, but just never completed. And there was an elevator shaft that was super sketchy because all you saw was this black hole of death as you're diving it from this, from above. And I dove all the way down to the bottom, and you can just see like a little bit of light at the bottom to try to, to come out. And I crashed to the bottom, and all I saw was like smoke coming out because the LiPo caught on fire, and it took forever to get there, right? So it's just burning. And so this is kind of a gross story, but basically, so I went in there, and once I retrieved it, I actually crashed in what we nicknamed the bum dung, which is basically, bums pooing in there. So that's not really a sketchy removal. That was just kind of a very memorable. Would have been
a super unfortunate.
Human feces on your quad that's on fire. I can't really imagine much worse.
They try to stomp out a bag of flaming shit, right?
Yeah,
except it's
exactly.
A drone.
Basically. Just replace the bag with the drone. Oh my God, this is so old. This is my first time I've ever flown indoors.
I'm trying to find. You did the elevator shaft.
This was on a 4-inch. This was a 4-inch quad.
Yeah, this was the 180.
Yeah, this was when the QAV 180 came out. In fact, you're probably near that building I'm talking about, like the video. Which one was that? Yeah, right there. Right at the, see, it says QAV 180 introduction or something. I can't read the text.
This one right here.
That was what we nicknamed the concrete explosion. If you want to see.
Does this one have the dive in it? Oh.
There's Phil Frybot and Steele. Yeah, so this is what we nicknamed, not that, that's a little lot, but you'll see in a second. This is me flying the 4-inch, that concrete building right there. There's an elevator shaft. You can see it right there. I don't dive it. This is like one of my first times ever flying at the spot, so I don't actually dive it in this video. This is very old. This is back when just ripping around here was mind-blowing. Yeah, just going through this hole was like blowing people's minds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was one of the memorable ones. Was kind of like crashing. I'm trying to think of sketchy. I did actually crash in water. That always scares me, like, because I had to. It was like the murky, like creek water.
Yeah.
So like you're like just kind of feeling around you're hoping that the props aren't spinning full speed, as it.
Well, and you guys are unluckier compared to us because you have all these venomous snakes and gators and random shit. Like when we're going through the ponds and rivers here, we have snapping turtles maybe, and we have leeches. Like that's it. That's all we have to worry about, right?
Well, snapping turtles are pretty crazy too.
They usually swim away.
We have those as well, so that's not really something you have a one up on us.
No, but they usually swim away, right? Like they're not as threatening or dangerous when you're digging through the mud. Like they tend to take off.
I don't know, actually. I've never encountered that situation, and I don't want to. But I know that they bite really hard, and they tend to not let go when they do bite.
Oh, yeah. No, they can take your finger off. Oh, yeah, ticks. Jordan Howard said we have ticks to worry about. Fair, but it's still not like a venomous snake.
We also have those.
This is actually one of the videos that helped me tune.
Yeah, that's the trailer park. I still have that shirt. Wait, what was the question? Someone asked a question and I didn't.
What's your go-to FPV camera?
Oh, I still fly the Runcam Eagle 2 Pro. I still fly that. It's a CMOS camera. If you're flying in like low light, it kind of sucks. But other than that, it's awesome.
Ooh, sorry, I keep yawning now.
Sharp. I know I'm boring. It's okay.
I swear, it's just the time of day. Oh, Michael Rollins just pops in last second. He's like, hey, I'm here.
You're not related to Henry Rollins, are you? Oh.
Michael says they've got all the crap. Yeah, I know. That's my point, is you guys have all the shit to deal with. Us Canadians have less to deal with.
That's fair.
That was all I was saying.
You guys have a lot of leaves, though, right? And snow.
Yeah. Well, you can conformal coat that shit and you can fly. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
Air units dry out even with DJI, which is nice. So, oh my God, Bad Fisher's been.
But it's not anywhere near as bad as like I couldn't imagine living in like Australia, where like literally you're at the bottom of the food chain, just about everywhere you go.
Right? Yeah, where everywhere you go, something wants to kill you.
Like we have like our scorpions are like this big, right? But in Australia, they're like literally like they can. Yeah, that's. Everything is amplified. The fact, like it's just anyway.
Thank you so much for coming on the show and hanging out with us and answering questions. And
it was fun.
I think everyone's really glad that you're coming back, and hopefully, some of the people in here motivated and reassured you a little bit too.
For sure, I'm super pumped. I think I'm gonna do. I think I might take that guy's advice on the whole like release one like old video and then like a new edit.
Yeah, old and then a new.
That means I only have to do one new flight a week.
Right?
Yeah, you have no excuse. Come on.
I can do that. I think I can swing that, especially now that I get off at 5, it gets dark at 9. There's like a nice little gap there. So,
I mean, you're still getting thousands of views on these videos, even though you haven't been out much. I think it's gonna be amazing.
I feel like that's some kind of record where I can like go away for literally ever and come back and still kind of hit a decent view count. I don't know how that's possible. But
well, I can't wait to see what comes out of it, man.
Yeah, man, it was fun.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for watching.
Dirty, unexplainable things for that quad frame.
This guy right here. Remember, I'm gonna have a giveaway. Look, you can see.
Wait, let's go big again so everyone can see.
They're coming out of the portal there.
That's so dope.
Yeah. The main thought was just using
the ricks are freaking perfect.
I know. It was like had to use that as his hair. So
awesome. Cool. Well, thank you again. And everyone check out next week the recap of this show. But at 10 o'clock, so half an hour from now, Mad Chiller will be on with Gravy and his crew. So
you have another one you have to do?
Next. Sorry. We don't do it.
Okay.
No.
You guys are crazy. Okay.
We're one and done. We're once every 2 weeks because we are the same. We're too busy to do more than that right now.
I understand. Well, very cool. Thanks for putting this together. It was fun chatting with you guys.
Yeah,
absolutely. It was
so awesome. You don't have to disappear. You can stay. We're just going to end the broadcast. So
all right, cool.
Just give us a sec here. Thank you, everyone, and have